Hello, hello. Sorry I'm a few minutes late, you guys. We had a little bit of a technical difficulty. Surprise, surprise, right? It never really goes exactly as planned. Hi, my name is Hannah Aylward. I'm a holistic health coach and gut health expert. I'm so pumped to be a part of the Unstoppable Mom Summit this year. I was also a part of it last year, so it's a true honor to be back in it. If you're joining me live, come give me a hi in the comments. I'm so pumped to connect with you guys and help educate you and answer all of your questions. So basically what I'm going to do is introduce myself a little bit and then just start answering all of the juicy questions that you guys left for me on my other posts. Yeah, does that sound good? Please excuse my appearance. I just got done cooking for a client. I also own a private chef business in my local area. Hi, Sarah. So your girl's been in the kitchen all day and I just jumped onto this. Like there's like turmeric stains on my shirt. But that's where we are. That's where we are today. So cool. Once again, I'm so excited to be here. Sorry I'm a few minutes late. We had I couldn't go live in the group, blah, blah, blah. We figured it out. And that's just pretty much how it always goes. Yeah, so please come say hi and introduce yourself in the comments. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I would love to know. I'm currently in Florida. But I know we're worldwide here. Yeah, so I'm currently in Florida. I kind of wish I wasn't right now. I wish I was traveling and on vacation somewhere. But here, that's where we're at. So cool. I'm just gonna pull up these questions that you guys asked so I can give you some good information here. Hi, Karen. Yeah. So once again, if you are new to me, if you have no idea who I am, my name is Hannah Aylward. I'm a certified holistic health coach, and I specialize in gut health. And what really got me into gut health was a multitude of things, my own personal struggles, my personal story, as well as the fact that I find that when we address a client's gut health, everything falls into place, right? So I know I got a lot of questions about energy and hormones and cravings. This all comes back to gut health. So I'm like, it's like the 1-2 punch, right? We can address the gut health and then everything starts to get better from there. Along with the fact that I spent many years suffering, I dealt with some eczema, migraines, bloating, disordered eating in a variety of different ways. Always wanting to shift the size of my body, not really connecting to how I was feeling, only connecting to how I looked. Many years of struggle. So that's really what got me into this. If you can relate, let me know. Really just wanting to alter my body, having very low self-worth, very low self-love. So that's something that I kind of talked about also. You'll find my interview goes live tomorrow. So we really talked about, like, if you guys want to get me up on my soapbox there, I will step up on it. But we talked about really loving your body, fueling it with these amazing, delicious, healthy foods, not to alter the way that we look, but to enhance our alignment, to feel better in our bodies, to feel, to be able to live out our purpose, right? So it's not just like, oh, I want to be a size 2, but it's more than that. It's, do I have the energy to fulfill my dreams? Do I have the energy to chase after my passions? Do I have the energy to run around after my kids? Do I have the like brain fog that's holding me back, right? So it goes so much more. I think maybe not every like health coach says this, or a nutritionist or whatever, but that's really like a big part of my message is, let's love ourselves through this process and let's make it as easy as possible. And I am not really like on board with the like fat loss in 5 minutes plan that is sold to a lot of us. Super unsustainable, unrealistic, leaves us on this diet roller coaster that leaves us just feeling like crap once we inevitably fall off the diet, right? So I approach this from a really holistic standpoint and really want you to feel empowered, healthy, happy, vibrant in your body. So that's a little bit about me. I help women really all over the world ditch their digestive distress. You know, the #1 reason why people visit the doctor is due to digestive issues. Give me a wave if you are one of those people, right? Especially after pregnancy, especially when we have higher cortisol, when we've just like given birth to a life, a being, right? It's our gut microbiome can really get out of whack. The stress, the lack of sleep, the hormonal fluctuations, right? So this can come as bloating, digestive issues, weight loss resistance, acne, eczema, blood sugar imbalances, bad cravings, insomnia, right? So it can kind of come into play in a variety of different ways. And I kind of help women get to the root cause of their issues. So this is also really, really big for me, getting to the root cause of the issues. And this is the analogy that like I always give. If you're standing on a tack, you can take an Advil and the pain will go away a little bit, right? And then the Advil's gonna wear off and you're gonna have to take more Advil. And then you'll probably have to increase your dosage. You might get an infection, right? Because we haven't dealt with the root of the problem. What we need to do is get to the root cause of the issue and remove the tack from your foot and then allow the body to do its natural healing dance, right? So that's the other approach that I really, really take. So yes, come say hi, hit me with any questions that you have, and I'm gonna take a look at the questions that you guys submitted and answer them. Yeah, and please make sure to check out my interview tomorrow. Tomorrow we really covered, you know, disconnecting the way that your body looks to what you eat. We're just fed that that's the only thing that matters, and that's not, right? What we eat affects how we feel, how we sleep, how we show up, our intuition, our ability to tap in and make decisions from an aligned and embodied place, right? It goes so much farther than that. We talk about blood sugar balance. We talk about really sustainable and healthy, realistic adjustments that you can make in your life, regardless of how busy you are, to ditch the cravings, to have more energy, to avoid that 3 p.m. slump, to naturally have your weight balanced to where it should be. So lots of juicy information in the talk tomorrow. So, let's see. Hello, everyone. Self-love piece is so important. Yes, we had some questions about prebiotics, probiotics. Are you able to touch on whether these are helpful? Absolutely. So I'll start here and then I have the other page pulled up too. So yes, prebiotics and probiotics are awesome, are totally helpful. I always say like a probiotic is not going to solve all of your issues, right? So a lot of women, by the time that they, interview is available in about an hour. Don't you love? Yes, there we go. Different time zones. Tomorrow for me, it's tomorrow. So okay, so probiotics can be really helpful. It's really important to have those good bacteria and be populating our gut microbiome with those good bacteria. If you have taken a probiotic and it's increased your bloating, it's increased your digestive distress, that's a sign that something's off. Yeah. So we don't want to take them then. You may be dealing with something deeper. We cannot just simply take a probiotic and have it fix all of our issues. I know a lot of them are marketed that way. That's not really how it works. There's more to the process, right? So we have to make sure that we don't have too much of the bad bacteria. We have to really enrich that gut lining. Do we have enough digestive enzymes? All of that good stuff. So I just want to let you guys know that yes, they can be totally effective and helpful. You won't find all of your answers in one pill, whether it's a supplement, an all-natural supplement, or an Advil, right? So it takes a more holistic approach. With that being said, they can be really helpful. My favorite kind are spore-based probiotics. They actually get into the large intestine, which is where they should be getting. So when you take a probiotic, we've got our gut is comprised of a few different organs, right? So one of them is our large intestine, our colon. That's where we want all of these good bacteria going, these probiotics that are the good bacteria. So sometimes they don't even get there. I don't really recommend snagging a probiotic like off the shelf at any store. It's typically not high quality enough. The supplement industry really isn't regulated. So we want to make sure we're getting our hands on the good stuff. If you have any questions about this and you want like a specific one, find me on Instagram. I'll put it here in the description, and you can find me there, and I have a link to some of my favorite products there too. So we really want high quality, targeted, and effective supplements, or else we're just like wasting our money and our time and our hope, right? So a lot of women, by the time they get to me, they've tried all of these random different things. They've tried paleo, they've tried probiotics, they've tried apple cider vinegar, right? And it's like, these aren't bad things, but they're not being put together in the right process. So then we're not getting the results that we want. So then we're defeated and we think that there's something wrong, or we're just like, whatever, we'll get used to feeling like crap. No, we just have to put it together in a comprehensive and a holistic process, right? And I talk a bit about that tomorrow, or when my interview goes live, aka in an hour for me tomorrow. Okay, so that's kind of that. Prebiotics, very, very important, because the prebiotics feed the probiotics. So if we're not feeding the probiotics, we're gonna take this capsule and it's gonna come in and it's gonna go right out, right? We're going to like just poop it out. And in a matter of probably 3 days, if not shorter. So we have to be eating these prebiotics to be feeding the probiotics, to be getting these communities of good gut bacteria to be growing and thriving. So it's like you have a garden and you have your seeds, right? And they're in the soil, but you don't water your garden and it doesn't get exposed to sunlight. Like, it's not going to work, right? The seeds are there, but they can't thrive because they aren't given these other components. That's basically like taking your probiotic and then not eating the prebiotics, not eating the anti-inflammatory foods, not eating the polyphenols and the antioxidants and all of that good stuff. So it's there's a bit more to the process. I have tons of information about all of this on my Instagram, on my YouTube channel, all of that. So if you guys want to learn more or you're interested, like, please, I will put where can I put it? I'll put my Instagram handle in here. I'm sure you'll have access to it some other way, but tons of information. So if you're like, whoa, this is me, or I need help with this, then just check it out there. Thanks, it's helpful. I feel like I'll regret this question, but can you tell us about the impact of coffee on our gut? Yes, I can. Regret is yield, but I'm still interested in the answer. Yes. Okay. So listen, I love coffee. I love my coffee. I love my cold brew. I love it with my my almond creamer, not almond milk because it tastes kind of bad, but I use another creamer. Anyway, here's my take on it. If you get a high quality coffee, I'm a big fan of organic, like mold-free coffees. So not just like grabbing it at the gas station, but coffee can be super high in pesticides. If you're drinking it every day, you want to make sure that it's good quality. Some of my favorite brands are Purity Coffee and Bulletproof Coffee. You've probably heard of Bulletproof. You don't need to like blend it up with blend it up with like butter and everything like that, right? If you do, that's fine too. But the point is they make sure that their coffee beans are really high quality. So they're tested for mold. Coffee beans, because of how they're grown and stored, can really carry mold. That we don't want. That can show up in the body as like a ton of different issues, and it can be a little difficult to pinpoint. So point is, get high quality coffee, organic, mold free, get it tested, or make sure they test it, right? So, and it doesn't have to be super expensive. I think that I buy these ones that are tested for mold. I mean, they're like $15 or less. It's not like they're $40 or anything like that, and that's for a whole bag. So it's not like $5, but it's not like $40. Totally worth it. My links will be on the page where the interview is shared. Awesome. Cool. So yes, you can find more information that way. With this being said, what coffee can do is it can make us go to the bathroom, right? So if we're not feeding that gut bacteria the right way, it's gonna help us like get rid of the good bacteria quicker, which we don't necessarily want. And it can also bump our blood sugar levels, and it can also bump our cortisol levels. So everyone breaks down caffeine differently. You metabolizes it differently. You can probably tell if you're a quick metabolizer or a slow metabolizer. So if you're a quick metabolizer, those are the people that are like, oh my gosh, I can have a coffee at like 6 and I'm just fine, right? And you're like, what? Or I'm like, what? And then there's people that are like, I have 3 sips of coffee and I'm bugged out, right? Or if I have any coffee past noon, I'm up all night. So that's how you can kind of gauge just intuitively. You can also get checked for a certain gene variant, but like you already know, right? It doesn't make me super anxious every once in a while when I have too much on my plate or I'm not taking care of myself. It'll make me super anxious. That's when we don't want to drink it, right? Really helpful to switch to matcha there. Contains L-theanine. It's a bit easier on the adrenals. In a lot of my programs, we will take out the coffee for a period of time and bring in something like matcha, so we still get that good caffeine, those good antioxidants, but it's a little calmer on the system. So long answer short, right? It depends on who you are, and it depends on if you're already suffering with adrenal fatigue, high cortisol levels, you're super stressed out, you're not sleeping well because of the kids, right? Like, if that's how you're kind of living, it's probably better to bring in something like matcha or a tea or just a regular green tea or, an herbal tea or something like that. Maybe even a raw cacao drink, because it's going to contain a little bit of caffeine, not quite as much as coffee, or doing like half decaf, half regular. Point is, more caffeine can spike cortisol, that stress hormone, right? So that's why some people get jittery and anxious when they drink it. Or if you're not really noticing, try taking it out for a few days and bringing it back in. You'll see how quickly your body's like, whoa, we don't need that right now. But cortisol can actually create leaky gut or increase intestinal permeability. So stress can really, really damage our gut health, can really damage our overall health in a multitude of ways. But we have tight junctions that line our gut lining like this. And when we get something like leaky gut, these tight junctions start to pull apart. And we have undigested proteins. We have all of this like icky stuff that isn't supposed to be going there, starts leaking through the gut lining, triggers systemic inflammation. It can look like acne, migraines, brain fog, low energy, joint pain, all sorts of things, right? It's really bad news long term. We don't want to be dealing with that. It can spark a ton of things. So cortisol will pull apart these tight junctions. So is 1 cup of coffee a day, if you handle it well, going to like ruin your health? Probably not. Do I drink it? Yes. Do I also try to filter it out to give myself a little break? Yes. Am I always successful in that? No. So listen to your body, right? Make sure it's high quality. Make sure you're not putting tons of sugar and cream in it. Sometimes it's even more damaging when we put a bunch of junk in it. No sugar-free things either, right? No pumps of sugar-free vanilla or anything like that. Totally toxic, totally toxic. I'd rather you have a little bit of sugar than this like sugar-free stuff. 1 coffee a day is all I can have, but I love it. Yeah, I mean, you should be fine with that. Listen to your body, you know, in bigger states of stress, or if you've been diagnosed with adrenal fatigue, or if you have high cortisol levels, maybe not your best option, right? Okay, let me see if I can get to some of these other questions. Okay, Lauren said, I'd love to hear about any foods we might want to cut out / add in to help alleviate anxiety. There we go. Perfect. So coffee. But really overall, and I believe I talk about this in my interview, sugar, processed carbohydrates. First and foremost, those guys. Like if you aren't really used to eating a lot of whole foods yet, everyone's kind of on a different part of their journey, no judgment, right? But if that's kind of already a big stretch for you, first thing to pull is the sugar or the added sugar, right? Then the processed carbohydrates, these processed foods that have tons of junk in them. Because what happens is, and I have more information about this on my Instagram too, I talk about this a lot. I think I did a whole video on just this topic. But what happens is when we eat sugar, we bump our blood sugar levels, our blood glucose levels, right? So this is kind of how the blood sugar curve works very quickly, like 101, and like I'll do it in 60 seconds. So most people live on a curve like this. It's like we wake up, we have a coffee or a frappuccino and a muffin, and then we crash. And then it's 10 a.m. and you're like reaching for a snack, right? You're like feeding your child and you're like eating off their plate, or you're at the office and you're like eating M&Ms out of the bowl, right? But you're like hungry at 10 when you just kind of ate something. That's because your blood sugar drastically dropped. I talk about this a lot in my interview because this is a game changer. I watch this help people's anxiety over and over and over again, and makes weight loss or weight management like so simple, makes eating healthier so much easier because you're not having these cravings anymore and you're not reaching this point of like hanger, right? Where you're like, don't care, I'll eat anything, open the fridge, pound it, I don't even care, right? We've all been there, no judgment whatsoever. It happens to the best of us. But we want to avoid that, or else we're like fighting this process, right? It doesn't need to be this hard is my point. This is like my main point of discussion in my interview. So if you want to know more about this, definitely check out the interview. So blood sugar curve, most of us are riding it all day, right? We dip at 10 or 11 and then we need the snack, and then we're craving sugar and carbs. So maybe we have some like pretzels, or we have some like M&Ms, or we have like a granola bar that's not healthy, that's marketed to us as healthy, and it brings it up again. And then when it comes up really high, it dips really low, right? And then we hit lunch and we're like, oh, we're so hungry. So we have a sandwich, and then we have 2 pieces of bread in that, dense in carbohydrates. Carbohydrates all break down into sugars. It bumps back up, then it bumps down again, right? Then you go home and you're like, after you get the kids in the bath and you feed them and everything, you're like, I just want a glass of wine and a piece of pizza. I don't even care anymore, right? Not super supportive of our overall health, because A, you feel bugged out and wired out and anxious, and B, it makes making healthy decisions like way harder. So I want you to be able to be in your body and present when you're making these decisions on what to eat, you know, because because I've been there, right? Where I'm so hungry, I'm like, I don't even care. I would eat my own hand. We want to avoid that, right? Like, who's felt that way? Let me know. So that's what we want to avoid. So we want to optimize your blood sugar curve. So the things that really bring it up and down and up and down are sugar and carbohydrates, because carbohydrates break down into sugars. I'm not saying a sweet potato is bad for you. I'm not saying the oatmeal is bad for you or anything like that, right? But we just want to be mindful of how much we're eating and when we're eating these things as well. Like for me and my body, really important for me to have a protein-dense breakfast because I'm already jacked up on cortisol. I run my own business. I'm running around. I'm already like, I don't like snooze my alarm. I like jump out of bed type of deal. That's because of my cortisol. All of our cortisol should be higher in the morning naturally. It's what helps us get out of bed. If you're feeling like you're dragging your feet out of bed and you want to hit snooze a million times, we need to check out your hormones for sure. And we need to start balancing your blood sugar levels. So overall, ditch the processed carbohydrates, ditch the sugars, ditch the caffeine. All of these things are spiking you up and dropping you low. And when we drop low, we feel irritable and anxious, right? So a little personal tidbit, my sister struggled horribly with anxiety, couldn't go into stores, didn't want to leave her bedroom, would be in her office like crying in the bathroom, was so anxious. She did my program. She literally says to me, Hannah, I've never felt better than when I do your program. And her snacking, like she used to bring snacks with her because she'd be so afraid that her energy was going to drop and it would trigger her anxiety. And now she's like, I never snack. She eats like 3 square meals a day. She's way less anxious. So it's all correlated here. So that's the thing too. Like I'm not a huge fan of like a million snacks a day because you're just bumping your blood sugar all day long, bumping those insulin levels all day long. Insulin is pro-inflammatory. Okay, I don't want to get too sciencey. I'll wrap this up in a few minutes. Let me see if I can address a few more questions here, or else I'm gonna be on here for like 3 hours, y'all, because I love it. So probiotics, always good, doesn't matter which kind, in yogurt or in tablet form, from Karen. I think I kind of covered that. What do you think of detoxing for gut health? Say eating soup and juice for a day or so. Any value or not? Yeah, interesting question. Juice can be cool. I'm not a huge fan of the juice fast or anything like that because of what I just said, because of that blood sugar curve, right? And because one of the best things for our gut health is fiber, and juices contain 0 fiber. And since they contain 0 fiber, we have to be really mindful of what kind of juice we're drinking. So if I get a juice, which like I like sometimes, I want to make sure it's all greens or like very little fruit. Because when you eat a fruit in whole form, like an apple, it contains the vitamins, the minerals, the nutrients, the fiber, and the carbohydrates and the sugars, right? The fiber helps slow the absorption of sugar into your bloodstream. It's like nature's natural package. When we just juice it, we're getting rid of all that fiber. Our blood sugar is spiking way quicker. So something like a beet, carrot, orange juice sounds healthy, right? Could easily have beet, carrot, and orange, easily have about 40 grams of sugar, 50 grams of sugar, right? Of course, it has more minerals and vitamins than soda, right? Like we know that, but it's not my go-to. And I talk a lot about in my interview as well. Make sure to check it out. I talk about my morning power smoothie. If you want to do those in the morning, sometimes I'll do one for breakfast and dinner if I do that for a few days, and then I have a gut healthy lunch as well. That's a really good reset for me. But because it's like promotes stabilized blood sugar levels, promotes gut proliferation because it's loaded with fiber, loaded with healthy fats, anti-inflammatory healthy fats, and it actually keeps you satiated, right? So who in here has tried a juice fast and you're freaking starving, right? We don't want that to happen. It's really not good for you. As well as the fact that we metabolize fructose, which is the sugar in fruit, differently than like glucose. It goes straight to the liver. So if we're drinking a juice with like pineapple and grapefruit and all of this and no fiber to slow the absorption of the blood, just sugar, we are pounding our liver. Once again, going to be better than like eating a Twinkie and drinking a soda, right? Like, but not my preferred way to go. I'm a bigger fan of the smoothie because you get in the fiber, really essential for gut health. Or the soups, like you were saying. The soups, if you want to do a blended soup, my cookbook has so many amazing soups. I love soup, feels like a hug, and it's easier to digest, right? Like than those raw foods. Nice cooked stewed foods tend to be easier to digest. So if you have something like leaky gut, if you have like worn out adrenals from all of the stress, things like that that are really comforting and warming are going to be, and easier to digest, are going to be easier on your system. So if you wanted to do like my Ham Morning Power Smoothie for breakfast, then lunch you do like a nice yummy soup, and dinner you have either a soup or another smoothie. That's a great option for you. If you did that for a few days, you'd feel wonderful. And you guys, you'll see it in my interview. I have a free 3-day gut reset. It's awesome. Like you'll feel so much better after doing it for just 3 days. And it's all whole foods, no juicing, no fasting, no starving, none of that. Okay, I'd love to hear more healthy food options, high protein, low fat, carb foods, healthy carbs, healthy fats. I think I've talked about some of this, and I'm not exactly sure what you're asking, so I'm going to move on to another question. I'd love to hear about foods that won't give me that big slump and make me feel so tired. So Yvonne asked this. I talk about this in my interview. So it's really all about managing that blood sugar curve and supporting your gut health. So I kind of already explained that. Ditching the processed carbohydrates, ditching the sugars. We want to increase protein, really increase the fiber intake, increase those veggies, healthy whole foods, and healthy fats. Don't fear fat. They're really essential for our hormones and our brain health and our energy, and to help us keep satiated. Yeah. Okay. And if you want more information on this, like reach out to me, follow me. This is all I talk about. Okay. Let's see here. Samantha asks, I would like to know foods that combat PMS, especially the food craving. Yeah. And then someone else was like, yes. So yes. Okay. PMS, your symptoms do not need to be horrible. They just don't. And using any birth control to get rid of symptoms is not a real thing. You are covering it up, and there's deeper damage is happening, right? So birth control depletes our system of minerals, vitamins, B vitamins, and there's also especially if we've gone on it to deal with PMS, we are not fixing the root cause. Going back to what I said about the tack, like we have to take the tack out of the foot, right? So the PMS would be like taking an Advil for, birth control would be like taking an Advil for the tack that's in your foot, when really you need to remove the tack from your foot, right? So I could literally talk about this, or probably do a whole masterclass for like 3 hours. So how can I say this quickly? We want to support our gut health because we have something called the estrobolome, which is actually where a lot of hormones are produced, and it's in the gut itself. So a lot of my students will say to me that once they go through my program, when their period does come, when their menstrual cycle does come, it's so much easier, right? Because we've helped cleanse the liver, which gets overloaded during this time because of the hormone fluctuations, and we've supported our gut health, and we've taken away all of these inflammatory foods. We've taken out the sugar, out the dense processed carbohydrates. We've taken out the alcohol, right? For me personally, the more I drink, the worse my PMS is. The less I drink, the easier my period is. And my stress levels and how much I'm sleeping. These all play a huge part. So if I could give you like 3 tips to reduce PMS, it would be eat healthy fats, balance your blood sugar levels. I talk about this more in the interview. Eat more vegetables and get enough sleep. Sleep, sleep, sleep. No supplement can be a substitute for sleep, honestly. It really does very often come back to the basics. Sleep, water, move your body, enjoy your life, manage your stress levels, eat more vegetables. If you do that, you're better off than like most people out there. Christy, hello, I'm here. Didn't realize you made it on. Have I missed much? It's okay. This will be available in the group, so you can always rewatch it. Karen, okay, that makes sense. So maybe vegetable soup with all the fiber, not juices. I'm not very keen on smoothies, a texture thing. Yeah, veggie soups would be great. Would be wonderful. Okay, I think there's one more question here. I'm wondering a lot about probiotics. I did talk about probiotics as they feel beneficial in some way. What's a good brand? I feel awful all the time. We need to get you on a gut reset, girlfriend. I feel worse now. I quit smoking in February and I've gained a bit of weight. I feel worse now than I did when I smoked. I'm tired all the time and can't seem to get motivated to exercise, even though I know that's part of what's going to make me feel better and get this weight off. Sorry for rambling. No, you can ramble as much as you want, sister. Okay, so if you feel worse on probiotics, that's a sign that something's going on. We have an overgrowth of bacteria, of bad bacteria, most likely. Good on you for quitting smoking. It's obviously not supportive of our health. And I would want to get you on like a fully comprehensive program, because we could really, really 180 your health, but it's going to be bigger than just taking a probiotic. And I don't say that to make it sound complicated or to not help, but I just want to be realistic with you guys. And I don't want you to spend $50 on a probiotic thinking that that's going to solve all of your issues, and then you're struggling for longer and you're wasting your time and money, right? So I'd want to get you on a really comprehensive program. I have a special offer for you guys, for all of you amazing women that attend this Mom Summit and that listen to my interview. There's a special offer for you guys. So you get, in this special offer, you get my cookbook, you get my like complete comprehensive gut repairing plan, step by step, exactly what to eat, all of that. All of my recipes are catered exactly to this plan. You get my 7-day meal plan, just so you can get a vibe of kind of how it looks, what it would look like, how to eat. And I think there's something else in there that I'm not remembering, but check it out. It's an awesome offer at a really affordable price point for you guys. If you're interested in really like 180ing your health, you've been really struggling and you need some support, or you just need some accountability. Great info. Thank you, Samantha. What's your take on gluten? Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. Personally, in my life, I don't really eat it. Gluten increases zonulin. Zonulin creates leaky gut, basically. To wrap it in a tiny little answer and give it to you. So that's why I'm not really a fan. I think a lot of people are sensitive to it. A lot more sensitive to it than they even know. Doesn't mean you have to be allergic, doesn't mean you have to have celiac disease. It's not the most supportive of health, in my opinion. With that being said, I find a lot of my students can come in, do my program, really repair their gut, and then enjoy eating it, every once in a while and feel just fine. So it kind of depends on where you are in your health journey, how damaged your gut is. If you're doing any gut repairing, definitely take it out. If you're wanting to feel better, if you're wanting to help those hormones, all of that, I would take it out for sure. It's pretty pro-inflammatory. And I think I have a whole section of it like in my gut health guide that I'm offering to you guys. So long story short, I'm not a huge fan. I've been eating mostly gluten-free for like 5 years now, and it's not difficult at all for me, with the like occasional thing sneaking in here and there. And that's what makes it okay, is that I enjoy it occasionally. But I also don't promote like food fear. So if you feel fine eating it, then maybe you can continue eating it. If you don't feel fine eating it and that's why you're asking, then that's a suggestion that you should take it out, right? And the quality really matters, because our wheat has been hybridized, has been adjusted, is now genetically modified. One of the reasons why it's not helping our health right now. So I'm kind of on team take it out. I'm not a huge fan of the gluten or the sugar, really. And there's so many other like amazing ways to make food. You don't really need it, and especially anyone that has a skin issue, or a hormone issue, or a gut issue. Once again, it's all connected. But try taking out the dairy and the gluten and the sugar. Watch the skin clear. It's like, it can happen. I had one student, her hormonal acne was gone in 4 days from making the adjustments on my program. That's a little bit more than what I just said, but really awesome. Yes, you're so welcome. You're welcome, Samantha. You're welcome, Christy. Cool. I'm so pumped to be here with you guys, and make sure to connect with me. You'll have all of my information throughout all of this. I loved doing this. I loved being here. I hope to be a mom one day, so it means the world to me to be able to support some other incredible moms. I may be reaching out for help soon in another area. So yes, so lovely to connect. If you guys have any follow-up questions, if you catch the replay, let me know that you're catching the replay. Put your questions in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. And go check out my interview. It's awesome. We had a lot of fun, and we dove a little deeper into all of it. And make sure to come connect with me on social too, because the amount of information that I put out is unreal. Lots and lots of good information. So yeah, awesome. Lots of love, you guys. I'm going to hop off and go eat some dinner. And if you have any more questions, just put them in the comments. Okay, we'll talk soon. Bye, ladies.